Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajakachaja Stotara Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinata Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse number 3. Saivayam mayatedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosime shakacheti rahasyam hietaduttamam. Saivayam mayatedya yoga prokta sanatanaha bhaktosime shakacheti rahasyam hietaduttamam. Saivayam mayatedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosime shakacheti rahasyam hietaduttamam. Sa, the same ancient. Eva, certainly. I am this. Maya, by me. Te, unto you. Adya, today. Yoga, the science of yoga. Prokta, spoken. Puratanaha, very old. Bhakta devotee. Asi you are. Me my. Shaka friend. Cha also. Iti therefore. Rahasyam mystery. He certainly. Etad this. Uttamam transcendental. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you're my devotee as well as my friend. Therefore you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Purport. There are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science owing to his being the devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it is not possible to understand this great mysterious science. There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge, and some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Commentaries by the devotees are real, whereas that of the demon is useless. Arjuna accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service in the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, concoct something about Krishna and mislead the public and general readers from the path of Krishna's instructions. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited. Sa evayam mayatedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktusime shakacheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. So there are two kinds of people in the material world. One is a devotee and one is a demon. Two broad classes. The devotee accepts Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and the demon acts independently of Krishna, thinks there is no God, and he thinks that the business of life is simply to enjoy the material energy. However, the devotee, he understands that it is not possible to enjoy material life. You may try, you may get a little enjoyment, but it is tithering, it is stuttering. It is like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. A great poet, Govinda Das, he has written, Kamala Jala Dala Jivana Tala Mala. That Jivana, the life, our life, it is just like a drop of water onto the lotus leaf. The water does not enter into the leaf because the leaf is impermeable. The drop of water stays on the leaf, but if the leaf just moves, then prut, the drop of water slides off. So this is life. Govinda Das says, your life, it is just like this drop of water. Bhaja unhari pada nitire. Therefore, because this life is temporary and because this life can be ended at any time, when you have the intelligence, when you have the possibility, Bhaja unhari pada, worship the lotus feet of Hari nitire, which is an eternal activity. Worshipping Krishna is not a temporary activity. It is an eternal activity because it doesn't deal with the body. Worshipping Krishna is dealing with the soul. Worshipping Krishna is not to aspire to become Krishna. Worshipping Krishna doesn't mean enjoying his property independently of him. That is not worship. That is exploitation. That is the business of a thief. So our material education is simply training us to be thieves, to simply steal from Krishna and don't give him the credit. It is not that you cannot enjoy material life. A devotee also lives in a material world. A devotee also eats, sleeps, sometimes as a family. But the difference between a devotee activities and the same activities by a non-devotee is a devotee as Krishna in the middle. Therefore, here Krishna says, Bhakto si me to Arjuna. You are my devotee. Bhakto. This is a very important word. Generally, we translate bhakti or bhakto as devotion. But actually, if you study Sanskrit, the dhatu or the root of the word bhakti is bhag, which means to divide. The actual meaning of bhakti means division, means two. What does it mean two? Means God is there and I am here. 1, 2. And that is inseparable. You cannot make them together. You cannot become one with God. Although the Mayavadi philosophers, they claim that if you become free from material desires, you can enter into the spiritual light and become one with the light. Just like if you put a drop of water into the ocean, the drop of the water mixes with the ocean. But that's not a very good example, as Prabhupada explained, because in the ocean, there is all kinds of life. There are aquatics, from the small fish to the big whales. There's all kinds of things going on in the ocean. In the ocean, there is unlimited fortune. There are jewels, there are precious goods. Everything is there in the ocean. So when we go into the ocean of Krishna's existence, we connect with Krishna as an individual. In other words, Krishna is there and I am here. With a devotee, there is always two. A devotee never decides anything independently of Krishna. Whatever he does, wherever he goes, Krishna becomes part of his life 24 hours a day. Even in dreaming, a devotee dreams of Krishna. In eating, he eats Krishna prasad. When he makes a decision, he consults Krishna first. Not that I can decide anything independently. If I want to make a decision, I ask Krishna, should I do this? And as you make advancement in spiritual life, Krishna will actually guide you. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. The condition how to get Krishna to become your advisor is you have to worship him with loving attitude. Priti purvakam. Priti means with love. Then dadami, Krishna says, I will give. What will he give? Yogam. Yena mam upayantite. I will give him that connection. Yoga means to connect, through which he can understand me. And we see a very nice example given by our Param Guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He would never say, I will go here, I will go there. He will always say, if Krishna desires, I will go there. If Krishna wants, I will do this. Even this understanding of God being always present and ready to advise us is there in all religions. Even in Islam, they have a very famous saying, Inshallah, if Allah, if God, the greatest, if He wants. In other words, acceptance of God as the supreme. This is bhakti. Never an independent. We never become one with Krishna in the sense that we become Krishna. We become one with Krishna because we have the same feelings, the same harmony with Krishna, the same loving exchange with Krishna. Just like a mother becomes one with a child, she becomes overwhelmed with affection and love. She doesn't know where that affection and love comes from. She very carefully takes care of the child. Even if the child needs to be cleaned, she thinks that cleaning the child is a most wonderful activity. She takes the fluids from his body as nectar. So this kind of causeless love we will get from Krishna by practicing the process of bhakti, not by thinking I am equal with Krishna. So, in this verse, Krishna is explaining that this yoga of this science of connecting the soul with the Supreme Soul, it is Puratana. It is very, very old. In fact, it is eternal. It is called Nitya Siddha. Nitya Siddha means it is eternally there within the heart. A pure devotee understands this. Prabhupada, among so many Indian devotees, Prabhupada understood this so perfectly that he was able to travel to a foreign country and preach Krishna consciousness. Why? On the understanding that that Krishna consciousness was there in the heart, even of the Americans and the Europeans and the non-Hindus. That is called Nitya Siddha. So Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Shadya Kabunai. You don't get it by any external endeavor. How do you get this knowledge? Shravanadi, by hearing. Shuddha Chitta, you purify your consciousness and it becomes Udoy. It rises up within the heart where it is already there. We do not need to get any material knowledge or material science to understand who we are. It is already there in the heart. We simply need to uncover the layers of illusion. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda, he sang a very beautiful song which Srila Prabhupada used to quote a lot, called Vidyara Vilase. Bhaktivinoda was explaining my pastimes with obtaining knowledge, because Bhaktivinoda, he was very learned personality. He was very learned in all the circles of Bengal. He was a magistrate, so he was accepted. His knowledge and his training was accepted by the ruling British class. But when he explains about his pastime with knowledge, he says, Vidyara Vilase Kaitanu Kal. Says, I passed my time trying to get knowledge. And Parama Sahasa Ami, I became very, very, very confident that this knowledge would help me. But Tomara Charana Nabhajino Kabu. But I didn't worship you. Ekono Sharana Tuni. So now, Ekono, at this moment, Sharana, I will surrender unto you. After going through so much studying and obtaining so much influence in the Bengali society, at the end of his life, Bhaktivinoda writes, actually, those years were a waste of time. Why? Because I didn't worship you. Podite, podite, reading and reading, studying and studying. Barasa barilo, I got more hope that I would get something out of this. Gyane gate hobe mani, that my mind was thinking that this is the path, this is the way of knowledge. But say asha bifal, this desire was fruitless. Bifal, didn't give me any fruit, didn't give me any sweetness. Say jnana durbala, this knowledge was durbala. This material knowledge didn't make me strong, it made me weak. Say jnana agyana jani. Actually, this knowledge, this jnana was agyan, was ignorance. So the more we progress on material knowledge, the more we develop the material energy, the more we build machines, the more we exploit the resources of this material nature, the more we go away from God, the more it becomes a waste of time. Even Arjuna, he was offered this knowledge of machines, this material knowledge, by Maya Danava. So Maya Danava was a very powerful demigod, an architect who could build some fantastic machines. He actually built a whole machine that flew in the sky for the demon Shalva. In any case, this Maya Danava, he was saved from the fire of the Khandava forest, which was burnt down by the power of Krishna and Arjuna. This Khandava forest was burnt so that the fire god Agni, by the burning of this forest, by the liquids generated by the fire, and Agni ate this forest by his fire. He became free from indigestion, because previously the demigods were offering so many sacrifices, putting so much butter into the fire, that the fire god became overwhelmed. So he needed to burn the Khandava forest. So when he was burning the forest, Arjuna saved this personality, Mayadanava, from being burned. And Mayadanava became very, very grateful. And in fact, he built for the Pandavas an incredible palace and assembly house. And one of the things that Mayadanava offered to Arjuna was, I can teach you the science of machines, so you can do incredible things with the material energy. So Arjuna, before accepting, he asked Krishna's advice, that, my dear Krishna, this Mayadanava, this demigod, is offering me this great knowledge of machines. Should I accept? And Krishna said no. He advised me not to do it. And here, Bhaktivinoda explains that the more knowledge of material science that I achieved, the more I went away from you. And we can see in our society that the more we study the material energy, the more we try to independently understand the nature of this world, the more we move away from Krishna. Because real knowledge doesn't come from the external material energy. Real knowledge comes from the source of that energy, which is Krishna. And the source of that energy is within our heart. Therefore Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham redi sanivishtu. I am sitting in everyone's heart. Mattaha, from me, smriti, remembrance, jnanam, knowledge, apohanam, and forgetfulness is coming. So knowledge, forgetfulness, and remembrance is coming from Krishna in the heart. Even when we engage in material cultivation of knowledge, still we require Krishna's blessing, because He is giving us this, He is allowing us to practice according to our desires. Just like loving parents, they allow their children to play. The little girls, they want to play like the mother. They want to play house. So the mother, she gives them a little wooden house and some little utensils. So the little girls, they're playing, they're thinking, I'm cooking like my mother. And the little boys, they build castles and they play king and subjects. But all this is arranged by the father to keep the children engaged and to satisfy their desire to play. But as the children grow up, that desire to play becomes understood in context. They realize that once they grow up, childish play is no longer the business of life. And then they take advice from the parents on how to perfect their life, by going to school, by studying, by marrying, whatever the situation may be. So in the same way, the living entities come into this material world, and we, because of our independence from God, we're simply wasting our time. We're simply wasting our time, and Krishna is sitting within our heart, and He's waiting for us to come to the conclusion that no matter how successful I am materially, no matter how much knowledge I get, no matter how much of the material energy I can control, without Krishna, it will all be finished when I die. Or even if I am in tune with the Vedic science and I understand the nature of reincarnation, and I plan for the next life and the next life to go to the heavenly planets, to become a demigod, to be able to become the king of a planet so many powerful things. Become a yogi so you can have mystic powers. But even if you perfectly plan all your reincarnations and remain in the higher planetary systems and enjoy great power and influence, ultimately the whole universe will become destroyed. And this universe, it is nothing but a bubble in a huge ocean. It is said, Yasyaika nishvashita kalam, Yasya Aika, one of him, Yasya Aika, Yasyaika, Yasya Eka, Nishvashita kalam, in the time Athavalambya of the breath in and out, Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadantanata. Within this breath, outgoing and incoming, O Lord Vishnu, all the great demigods are living. So even the demigods who live millions and billions of years, incalculable, I think Lord Brahma's life is something like 300 trillion years. You cannot even imagine how long his life is. That space of time is simply one half breath of the Purusha, the Mahavishnu. So, Vishnu Mahan, this is the greatest of Vishnu. Kala Visheshu Govinda Adi Purusham. He is the Kala, or the portion of an expansion of Lord Krishna. So trying to understand Krishna and connect with Krishna is no simple thing. He is so great and we are so infinitesimal. But we can do this not by our own effort, but by his mercy, by his understanding. And how does that take place? Bhakta Sime, Krishna said, because you're my devotee. Sakacheti, because you're my friend. Those two qualifications, being a devotee of God and being friendly towards God, clears the path for us to understand his message. Even if I have something very secret that I want to give you, you have to be ready to receive it. I will not give it to you if you are not ready, if you're inimical, if you're not interested. I will not waste my time. So God, why should you waste his time trying to give us knowledge which we don't want? So becoming a devotee is very important because that clears the path for us to receive this knowledge from Krishna. So, Do Bhuta Sargu Lokasmin, Daiva Asura Evacha. Padma Purana says, two kinds of people in the world, the Daiva and the Asura, the demigods and the demons. Vishnu Bhakta Smrite Daiva, one who is a devotee of Vishnu, he is a demigod. Asura va tad viparaya, one who is against the supremacy of God, he is a demon. So this is the process of bhakti. This is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. The non-devotee, he relies on his power, he makes his own decisions independently according to his knowledge, according to his mentality. A devotee never does that. He always makes his decision after consulting with Krishna. Sometimes even when a devotee is in doubt, I've seen that many devotees do this, they will take the Bhagavad Gita, they will close their eyes, they will pray to Krishna for an answer, they will open the book at random, and very often the answer is right there. Because Krishna is in the heart. He knows what knowledge you need, and he will give you this knowledge if you're ready for it. This is a great gift of the Guru Parampara, that if we connect to this spiritual line, then we will receive that knowledge which is coming down from time immemorial and which is eternal and already there with it. It will awaken that knowledge within our heart. Good. Thank you very much. So we have some comments today. My obeisances to the speaker and the assembled devotees. This is from Atmavidya Prabhu. Rob says, Pranam Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Devananda, Dubey, he says, Sadar Pranama. Always offering respect. Anders says, Dandavat Pranam, most beautiful and uplifting Hari Katha. Yes, because of Hari. If you speak about Hari, it will always be beautiful. Krishna cannot be but beautiful. Even when he's angry, he's very beautiful. When Nrsingadev was very, very angry, nobody could go near him, even Lakshmi. But his devotee, Prahlad, he was not afraid of the Lord's anger. Because the devotee knows that even Lord is angry, he's never angry at his devotee. Albert DeVos, Vishnuvansa Prabhu, all glory to the assembled devotees. He says, Mayavadis can never have bhakti because they miss devotion. Very true. Mandi Priyor, Hare Krishna, good evening, dear Prabhu. Devananda Dubey again says, Hare Krishna. And Vrishnivamsa, Inshallah is inconceivable. It's divine. Correct. 100% agree by Devananda Dubey. Rob says, some say Krishna Bhakti is inherited, not inherent. Already there in the heart, which seems the correct version as you stated. Absolutely. According to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakti is Nitya Siddha, it is already there. Shradya Kabunai, you cannot get it externally, you cannot inherit it from anyone. It is already there. The awakening process, yes, that you inherit. But the process of what is being awoken is already there. Shravanadi, by hearing, beginning with hearing, Shuddha Chitta, you purify your consciousness, Karayodoy, and it becomes manifested. Just like the sun becomes manifested. Of course, if you want to live in a cave, then when the sun is manifested, you will not see it. You have to put yourself in a position. You have to go outside the cave to see the sunrise. In the same way. Then, in support of what the speaking about today from the song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vidyara Vilasis, indulgence in mundane knowledge verily makes an ass of the eternal soul by encouraging his infatuation with this temporary world. That's right. You could do a lot worse than making Bhaktivinoda Thakur the main poet in your life. He has so many wonderful realizations in his songs. And Atmavidya says, excellent points, examples, and reference on Shastra, regard to material knowledge and skills, versus spiritual knowledge and realization. Vishnivamsa, true, material science isn't spiritual science. Jaya Shri Toshan Krishna Das, thank you, Prabhu, for the nice class. Much appreciated. Das Asmi, I'm simply a humble servant. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you want to type any more comments, feel free to do so. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Hari Bol.